Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of The Cloudy Vape. In this video we're going to be talking about the Goliath version 2. Mucho tall, mucho big, Goliath version 2. All that good stuff. So quite a few improvements, but also very similar. Improvements, but also very similar. One big improvement is that it has coil heads. The deck is removable if you want to. So that's a thought if you want to do it. But let's have a little vape. Dive down, check it out, look at it. Probably won't build on it only because the deck is so similar to the original. If you build on the original or go to my original Goliath version 2 build, you can just do that. But the benefits of this one is that you can use thicker diameter. You can use like a 2.5, even 3 millimeter coil in these, and it's just much larger. And you'll see that in the up close. Let's have some vapes. 0.5 at 36 watts using, I think it's like a 70 VG, and let's have a couple toots. This wicks for days. Just like the original Goliath, it sucks juice, but it wicks for days. That's what I love about the Goliath design. It's just awesome. You never have dry hits. You never have to worry about not getting enough juice to the wick or the cotton, the coils. It just works very well. So it wicks for days. It tastes good. The flavor is great. The airflow is even more intense. It has more airflow. And there's a few things I don't like about it compared to the original, but I definitely enjoyed that they made the deck larger. So without more yapping, let's dive down and check it out. So the hype is finally here with this Goliath version 2. I know there's just been a lot of talk about this one for sure. So yeah, I'm thinking like Zephyrus on crack basically. That's what they did with this one. So the Zephyrus was really nice. I really enjoyed it. No beefs there or anything. I'm just gonna adjust this just a little bit. So yeah, the change up with the Goliath version 2 right away is that the deck is removable. Like literally, the deck's always been removable, but literally you can unscrew the posts. So these are new coils. I'll actually take this one. Show you this coil real quick. So here's basically a ceramic base around it. You got a dual coil going on. You have this cotton coming out of the sides, and it kind of looks like the Zephyrus coil head. But yeah, I mean that's about it. Let me see. I'll pop this off, set that down, get that grommet out of there, and just pop it off. You know, yeah, you could definitely rebuild it. I mean, would it be worth it? Maybe, because you already have an RTA deck, you know what I mean? So why would you go through the hassle of doing that? So here we go. Pop that out. There's the coils. There's a ceramic base that goes down into it. You're using some Japanese cotton in here. Got your coils, which you can see these are used, of course. So not too bad. Looks like some 24 gauge maybe. And they're using like a non-resistance fuse on it, as always. There's a little fuse right there where I keep flicking. So that is that's the coil head for the Goliath version 2. Honestly, I think Youde kind of failed on this coil head because compared to the what am I trying to say? Compared to the actual the way the RTA wicks. And these coil heads just don't seem like they wick very well. Again, that's just my experience, but you know, here's one that's still packaged. As you can see, this is why I think is if you see, here's basically the base, this very bottom section right here. So you have about 3 millimeters that you have to basically have the juice flow up, you know what I mean? Like it's set up too high. Unless you take this cotton out that's kind of packed on the sides of these, and lead them down these channels, which I don't know if that's what they want people to do. That's what I've been doing to make it work. So if you do have issues with these heads on the sides where the cotton is, just feather it down into these little channels that they've created on this head. So again, that's just my workaround, because I can't really get those heads to wick very well, even with like a 50-50 blend. Of course, Youde has been really popular with getting a lot of goodies, especially with their Zephyrus. So you do have an extra glass. You have extra colors if you want. If you want other colors, you have O-rings, you have seals, all that good stuff, extra screws, and just like the, if you see right in here, just like the Goblin Mini, you have a center post option. So if you only want to do, not center post, single coil build, if you only want to do single instead of dual, this little adapter just sits in one side, just pops in one side and blocks off the juice flow, blocks off the actual airflow, and then you can single coil it in this Goblin, or this, sorry, Goliath, because the Goblin Mini does have this option also. So kind of cool that they made that. Haven't really messed with single coil in this tank, but again, it is cool that they have that option. Looking at this device, I'm not going to take it apart too much, just the basics, how you would actually take it apart to build it and fill it. But essentially, if you look inside here, the original Goblin was in sections. This chimney, down to the kind of barrel or the top section of the deck, is all in one piece. So it kind of just all comes apart in one piece. This top section is one piece down, and the chimney is one piece. You have a nice rifling going on inside of this drip tip that it comes with, and then you even have rifling going down all the way down into the actual chamber, the deck chamber. So a lot of rifling design going on in there. Here's your O-ring inside of the glass, O-ring right there. That's where you would replace these if you want different colors. They still have that heartbeat going on. So right here, depending on how you turn it, I can't really see, where is it? Okay, so that little drop right there is on the low section, so that means the juice flow is cut off, just like the original, and you can turn it just like that, and that adjusts your juice flow. Not too bad there. So the difference is with this one, I mean, that the old one you would just twist the juice flow ring. This, once the actual deck's in place, you just twist the tank. You're just twisting the tank right here, and that adjusts your juice flow. So that's the biggest difference of the original to the version 2. You just have a press fitted, I believe it's like a silver plating down there, a press fitted silver plating, and then it just says Youde 2015. That's it on the bottom. The airflow ring is not, you can't take it off like you can with the original. If you see, you have these little kind of pins sticking out, these little pins that just stop it. But again, these airflow is probably 2.5 millimeters in height, and I would say, I mean, probably 12 to 15 in length. There's huge airflow. And then you can close it off by just holding it and twisting it. So really the only thing that's turning, if you can't see, this is cut off. So when you adjust the airflow, you're not going to disturb the juice flow and how that works. That's kind of on a different slice of metal. They did a good job kind of like seaming this, but basically you do have a seam there, you have a seam here, and you have a seam here. So it it's pretty interesting, definitely interesting. So here's what I was talking about, or I probably will be talking about after we take this apart, of course. Just by hand, I literally cannot get this deck off. Let's see if I can. No, now I'm taking off the tank. Alright, so I finally got it, but man, if you really snug this deck down, it just, you cannot get it off without using some type of leverage. What I did was I put something between these airflow channels and use it as leverage. But oh my gosh, this thing is so tight once you actually do tighten it down. So be very, very cautious. Don't tighten it down too much, because this this little O-ring right here that seals off the deck from the tank is just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So the main thing about this new deck is that you can just unscrew the deck just like you would with the RBA section. So that's just very simplistic in there. You have that pin, that press fitted pin right there, and then you have this deck. So here's the deck. Not too bad. You have that dual post design. One is center, one is negative, or one is positive, one is negative. Here's your airflow on the bottom. So this is closer to like 3.5 to 4. It's a little bit bigger than the original, or at least it looks bigger. But the actual entire deck section is way bigger than the original. At least it feels like it. So these are 2.5 millimeter in diameter coils. So you see you do have a lot of room. I even put 3 millimeter in here, and I had no issue with that. But same thing, kind of cut in juice flow right there. They kind of just drop in your cotton right there, juice flow right there. Nothing crazy. And that's why I said, you know, it's just like building on the original. It's almost easier because you have so much more room. So that just drops right back in there, and that screws down no problem. You also have the option of taking your coil head, and you can screw your coil head down in there. So that's cool that there is definitely an option. I will probably only be using this rebuildable section, but it is cool that they offer, you know, the other sections. And the threading is nice. It's just that it's covered in juice, so it's kind of hard to see what's going on because it's so shiny. But there we go. So that just goes in, and you can just tighten it down, and that is your deck. Not too bad. You know, the post holes are very large. You could easily fit 2 pieces of 22 gauge in there, no problem. Very large post holes. I would say about 2.5 millimeter post holes, if not, about 2.5 millimeter post holes on each side. So it is very nice. But right underneath the coils are airflow, just like, let's see, pull this up. See that? Just like the original, going straight down into there. So you have direct airflow going straight down, and then it hits these Cylon airflows. So that's basically your airflow going on both sides. Huge airflow, 3.5 to 4 millimeters. It definitely seems larger than the original. That's all I'm trying to say. And then if you go over to your tank section, so it is pretty remarkable. But basically, just like the original, this little section right here pops off. This inner section, you have, you know, this ring right here, that twist. If you see, it's like about right there. It's sealed off. So this little ring pops off, and that's 2 sections, and then your tank and your chimney are another section. So it all kind of just pieces together down in there. And then, you know, you just open it up so the juice flow is open. Put your juice in on one side, it fills it up. Then you lock it off to make sure it's locked off, and you just dump it upside down, line it up. And actually this threading compared to the original, much better threading on this one, except when that O-ring hits. You tighten up that O-ring right there. Oh my gosh, just don't tighten it up because it will not come off if you tighten it up too much. So yep, there it is. There's a quick rundown of the Goliath version 2, and most likely I'll be doing a build video separate of this, but I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of this and then give you my thoughts on it. So let's go back up to FaceTime and talk about it just a little bit more. So let's talk about the pros and the cons. So definitely the main con, I would have to say, the thing that I absolutely detest about this one is that the deck is so hard to screw off with that stupid O-ring on it. Oh my gosh, it's so frustrating. It really is frustrating. I did not have this much issue with the original, and that had no O-ring. Every once in a while, I would tighten the original too much, and I couldn't get the deck off very well, but I could get it off eventually. That O-ring creates a seal, which is great. Now you don't get as much condensation or leaking out of the juice flow control, that area, but it's just so darn hard to get off. You almost have to put an Allen key in between the airflow hole and use it as leverage, and that's all I'm able to do. So that is one main thing that I just do not enjoy about this. So maybe I'll look for a smaller O-ring for it, maybe not. but that's definitely a con. So I had a rant about that because that's something I just cannot stand about this tank. Everything else I absolutely love. The juice capacity, the the deck, the removable deck, the fact that you use coil heads, even though the coil heads don't seem like they wick very well. That's just my experience, even using like a 50/50. It just seems like the con is too high up on the actual build of the coil head, as you saw when I, in the up close. But those are just my thoughts. As far as the actual build deck, it is awesome. As far as it wicking, it is awesome. The only thing I can absolutely say that I cannot stand is how firm the deck is screwed onto the tank. It's supposed to be, you can just swap it out, pull off the deck, fill it up, no problem, but it is just so firm. So, yeah, without that rant, I love this. This is my go-to. This is what I've been using since I've gotten it. I got it about 2-3 weeks ago, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Just can't stand that little feature of the O-ring. So that's my rant. Definitely pick one up. I would definitely recommend getting one of these, but know that you might have to put some juice around that O-ring, or take the O-ring out, or find another O-ring, because it just doesn't seem like ease of use is there. So that's my little rant. I'm going to wrap up this review. Hope you found it helpful and all that good, happy stuff. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. And if you like my videos in general, please subscribe. And as always, stay classy and keep vaping.